Now you can do the introduction. Anyway, I'll help you. I'll help you a little bit. I'll
Yeah, I
help you
was
a little
gonna
bit.
say, how about we do that in half?
Yeah, cool.
Since in
Okay.
today's podcast we're talking about the hunters, and we have two guests this time. We are bringing in Mog from Sparks.
Hello.
Yay!
Yay!
Hey, Mog.
Hello,
I can't.
baby.
I can't say the best hunter now when Ali is here as well, because we want to feel him welcome as well. So would you, Dele, introduce
Yes,
Ali?
yes. We also have Ali here with us, otherwise known as Robbindude, who's playing with our friends at the Royal Army. Hi, Ali.
Hi guys.
Hello.
so glad to have you
Ali.
here. So glad to have you here.
I'm
And
glad
also,
to be here. Glad to be here.
I should say that he's the biggest Kevin Bacon fan. So
That was a joke that just got out of hand.
no, I don't think so.
But I'll take
seems
it.
like-
I'll take it. Well, do you know, ever since I watched Tremors, do you remember Tremors?
Yeah.
You do, right? Okay. So yeah, so Tremors was probably the first time I embraced Kevin Bacon.
Right. And then you decided to just follow his career everywhere.
Well, do you know it's difficult to live up to somebody like Kevin Bacon? But I try. I do try. I try.
Man.
And it's
It's
not hard to
like-
follow. Right.
So we can just go
Sorry.
to giving the our dudes here the time to introduce themselves. We could start with Mug.
Hello.
So Ali can actually drink his beer a little bit in peace, and then he can introduce himself.
I didn't know there was going to be an introduction section.
Yeah.
Where's the piece?
You can prepare.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
No, told me either.
Yeah.
No, I'm a hunter. Hello.
And I'm
Welcome,
Hunter.
Hunter.
Oh, thank you. I played Sparks after a long and arduous journey throughout the ages with all the guilds that ever was and will ever will be. I have found my home in Sparks, and I click buttons. So yeah,
You-
that's what
You
hunters do.
press really good.
Beautiful.
Oh yeah, I press them on my keyboard. I'm not a clicker like that, but I press them. I don't click them.
This is sounding a bit like a Hunters Anonymous, like we're coming here to confess all the crap things we've done that we're going to change.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there was this one time in Nomragan where I did, dismiss my pet, but we don't talk about that.
Didn't happen in Cybertron Games as well?
No, I have no recollection of this. I can't comment to this at this time.
Okay.
Fuck that bet.
But we had a kind of similar thing in a previous guild where we had Hunter Club. And you all know what the first rule of Hunter Club will be.
Do not talk about the 100.
Exactly.
You
Ah.
get all the... Oh. I thought it would be like, get all the loot. Isn't all the
Gather
loot
all the
for
weapons.
hunters? What happened? That used to be all the loot is for hunters, and now it's only weapons. What happened with that?
I mean, in my mind, everything is still hunter loot, but that's just me.
I don't know. I don't know why that. I don't know why Hunter's got that label. Yeah, we could use a lot more items, certainly, than other classes, I guess, but I would say all the loot. All the loot we want is our loot.
I guess it originates from when people were bad and classes were bad and nobody knew anything. And, purple pixels were rarer, so you took what you
True.
got.
True. As opposed to now that people are actually good, I guess.
Yeah, where people know what stats do what, and
It's true.
so you
Ali.
don't end up with Thunder Fury Hunters and melee spell power ones.
I was gonna say that I do remember really good we had this new hunter on the previous server. It wasn't classic, so it was before TBC. She was rolling for, I can't remember what it was, but it was
Glaive.
spell stuff in BVL, and we
Amazing.
were questioning that just a little bit.
Yeah, but it probably had a
So-
lot of stamina, right? Hunters need stamina.
It was because of the spell power, actually,
Oh.
yeah.
I mean, you don't even need to answer that. Just why the hell not?
Yeah.
Should
Yeah,
she not
exactly.
need that?
I think that's
What do
why
you
there's a
mean?
all the loot is for hunters.
Yeah, arcane shot spec. Hello.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Oh boy. Is that a thing?
Yeah, if they didn't want us to use spell power, why did they make arcane shots scale with spell power? Answer
There
me
you
this.
There you go.
It's the same as the diamond flask for warriors. Like, if you didn't want it to function in this way, then why did you make it do it?
Well,
You know?
hunters also had volley in classic, which was yeah. Let's not talk about that.
Yeah, most people didn't have it on their bars. Hopefully no one, but you know, spell power
Here-
hunters.
Here's a question I didn't consider actually. Is this hunter chat about classic hunters or retail hunters?
Classic
both.
ones.
Nowadays.
Ah,
Well, we
Yeah.
can also take a look like what did actually change, because the classic hunter stuff was really different from the Wrath time hunters.
Oh yeah, you guys did undergo a change during TBC from TBC to Wrath, right?
Yeah, we got
from
one
classic
more
to
spell,
TBC.
so now we have a button to click between the cooldowns.
Man. Or press.
Yeah,
if you
and,
want to click it.
Oh, press.
the-
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And the auto clipping is not anymore the thing.
Right.
I mean, it still was in TVC, but
Yeah, I mean, like it changed a lot from the classic when you actually had to pay attention to not clip those auto shots. You had actually like a
you
bit
didn't
different.
pay attention to
relations.
that in TVC. Hmm.
But I wasn't playing anymore. I changed to a paladin because the hunter sucked in TPC.
Yeah, that sounds like someone who didn't take care to not clip their auto shots.
So how do you feel about Wrath Hunters now? Let's go. Phase 1 to phase 3.
they're all right. I don't know. I've
I'll-
only I've only played survival. I've only played survival on both classic and retail, and I've only really been playing hunter like recently. My mains before that were Warlock and Warrior. Paladin.
Boo.
So yeah, honestly, hunter's actually kind of a new thing for me. I played a lot of. I've only played survival in the relaunch of classic, and I played a fair bit of survival in retail. Just because melee hunter, why not? Why not?
It's a nice meme.
It is, and do you know what? It's actually kind of fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's kind of
It
fun.
works.
Right. Explain to me. So, Mog plays marksman, right?
Okay.
I mean, I play all basically, but mostly.
Okay.
voice.
Mostly MM. Okay. And Ali's playing survival. So, explain to me and to whoever's listening, like we're 5-year-olds. What?
Again.
Yes. What's the difference between the two?
I couldn't tell you the difference because I've only played survival. But
All right.
if
so
Mog starts with marksman, then yeah, I could. I
Yeah,
suppose I could
I'll,
follow that. Or
I'll
vice
start with
versa.
marksman. Marksman is very simple. You click your serpent sting, and then you click your. No, you press your serpent sting. A very important distinction there. Then your chimera shot, because that's your big juicer attack that does the most damage, and renews
Mhm.
your serpent sting.
Mm-hmm.
That's why survival is so annoying, because you have to manually renew serpent sting. If you're a little ADHD kid like me, you don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, you follow up with your aim shot or your multi shot if it's cleave. That's like all our cleave. It's very sad. And then you just steady shot filler. And of course, you have trapping, which is essential if you want to do big damage. But that's more connected to survival, even though marksman also does it, because they benefit more from it with the increased proc chance of lock and load, which Ali here can tell us all about.
Yeah, lock and load's it's a thing. It's really annoying when it doesn't proc. It should proc a lot. Quite often it doesn't. Survival is a bit more. Well, I don't know if it's more involved, but there's certainly more movement. You start by putting your explosive trap down. If the boss isn't going to move at about 20 seconds for the pull, if it's going to move maybe a bit earlier. You start to pray that your tank has noticed the flares on the ground marking your explosive trap. You whisper the tank just to make sure that he's realised where the pull point is, and then you hope that the tank then pulls it to that spot. And then it's just an action
That never
priority
happened.
list. Well, I couldn't possibly comment. I've never shouted at my computer screen once for the tank
we know
doing
that.
something inexplicable.
Mhm.
But that's certainly that's your pre-pull right there, his explosive trap and getting it in the right place. And then just the action priority. It's a case of hitting the button that does the most damage per time spent, which for survival is explosive shot and then explosive trap if you can't pre-do that for any given reason. Maintaining serpent sting and then multi-shotting and steady shot is your filler. It's very exciting.
Right. So, do you survival hunters hate the tank more or the healers more? If they let you fight down.
Look, I mean, healers. I think you should get along with your healers, shouldn't you? You know, they keep you alive.
Yeah, kind of.
And I think more for hunters. Honestly, I don't know if others can speak for this, but pet healers that don't have pet frames. Why are you healing?
Exactly.
Why are you the way that you are?
You know, I always, okay, zoom back to the first launch of WoW and hunters complaining. I never really appreciated why they were complaining so much about their pets dying. And I now appreciate that. It's a chunk of your DPS. And then there is the call, depending on how far in the fight you are, well, do I bother resummoning it? Because it's a long cast time. It's a big chunk of your mana. All in all, your pet dying is bad.
Why, it's like a weapon.
Yeah.
Is it the
It
same
is.
for?
It's like taking a broken weapon into battle.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it the same for marksman, or do you guys not rely on the pet as much?
Yeah, it's the same. The pet buffs us. We buff the pet. Pet deals between 8 and 12% of our damage, so it dying is not optimal, to say put it lightly.
Oh, so the hunter club comes together like once a week, and collectively hates on tanks and healers, I guess, for letting the pet die.
I mean,
I don't think. I mean, I think. I imagine. Sorry, I imagine that for Beastmaster and Marksman, the boss movement is probably not quite as painful.
No,
when it happens for no reason.
It's really annoying though that every tank thinks that every mob suddenly pyroblasts and puts the flame things on the floor. That's a little sad, but you know, it is what it is.
Is there any space for Beastmasters anymore in the range?
Ooh.
The higher performing guilds may choose to take one, but I've seen many different iterations, like a combined spec that bring both True Shot Aura and the 3% damage buff, and meme stuff like that. Hunters are used more as utility because, you know, you have your Warlocks, you have your Death Knights. But most of the time, no. You would probably like to bring a Retribution Paladin instead of a BM, because BM is missing a button. It feels like it doesn't really have what it should have.
But you do get pretty cute pets, exotic pets.
You get cool pets. This is true, and I have some of those. But now I don't have a BM spec anymore because I have a trap spec and a non-trap spec.
Yeah.
Is there? Because I don't know because I haven't played Beastmaster and Classic. But is there an argument? Let's say you have healers that are new to. Let's say they're new to the game. All right. Beastmaster pets have a lot more survivability. Is that not the case?
They kind of do.
It's kind of true, but also kind of not. Because you don't really spec into the pet's toughness very much. You, of course, get a little bit on your way there, but they heal themselves more from, like, Judgment of Light and improve the Leader of the Pack. But like toughness-wise, you don't really gain very much.
So there's no real, if you're, again, only if your healers were new to the game, maybe it's the first time they've raided, you go Beastmaster, you do more damage because your pet doesn't die.
I think marksman and survival without a pet does more damage. Than
Well, okay, I'd never thought about it until now, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean it is like an argument about gear that once marksman and survival gets gear, they scale better than Beastmaster. So theoretically, in the beginning, BM should be better, but it's just not the case. It's just in this expansion, it's pretty bad. Not gonna lie.
So someone who is a new hunter turns to like this phase and is starting to gear up before the great ICC. Does the spec matter then with the low gear towards when you actually have gear?
I mean, outside of utility, not really. But of course, you want to have gear. Gear is nice.
It is.
But Beastmaster best in slot and, for example, Marksman best in slot is the same. And then you have, it's basically the same for survival too. You just have a different trinket. You use greatness over Mjolnir Runestone, and that's it, more or less.
So basically, if you come to the game with pretty crappy gear, it doesn't matter what spec you play.
I mean, that also depends on skill, but I wouldn't say that it matters very much. All three specs do more or less the same with crappy gear. I would say survival is still stronger because explosive shot is a little funky. It's a little stronger than the rest of the hunter skills, but
But arguably, marksman is a bit more forgiving.
marksman is easier to play because you don't need to manually keep things up. You don't need to look at your what's its face? Jesus. Your sniper training. You don't need to obsess about your sniper training. But what's more important on marksmanship is that you don't clip your auto shots with movement. So you want to stop half a second before your auto shot goes out, ideally. Of course, sometimes you're a bit lazy with this. That's just absolutely optimizing damage. But that's what the parsing end is. Not like us, our dad gamers, do.
So if the marksmanship is easier to play, is that why you're choosing that one, Mog?
No, I just like it better. I don't like manually reapplying Serpent Sting.
Yeah.
To me, both are the same.
Well,
I play survival on my alt.
Usually the hunters, they do decide the spec and they kind of stay faithful to that and they don't like the other specs. Even though it just feels like for someone who is not a hunter, just like, well, what's the difference? You just pew stuff and that's it. Send a pet in.
Yeah, it's more small things about each spec that makes them stick out a little bit, like your lock and load procs, and how explosive trap is bugged, or it's not bugged, but the description is wrong in the talents. So explosive trap actually has around 20% chance to proc load lock and load, while black arrow has like 6%. Which is also a big reason why trapping is extremely important for survival. Not only because it does more damage and you have shorter cooldown on it than the marksman has, but because it allows you to use more explosive shots, which is 37 to 40% of your entire damage. So it's very important.
What's lock and load?
Ali, do you want to take this one?
If I remember correctly, because my UI just flashes still. I don't know what it's telling me. I need to press something. But yeah, basically, it's a proc. Lock and load. That's the one that gives you the 3 explosive shots for no mana cost. Basically, 3 in a row.
Oh, I see.
So yeah, a big chunk of your damage. And explosive trap does proc it an awful lot, and that's why in the pool as well, you want explosive trap down pool so you can have both Black Arrow and Explosive Drop up at the same time, so you get more procs of more chances to proc lock and load.
Okay, so now I have a question. Now that you mentioned the rate thingy in the pre-pool, is there something that I'm gonna speak from a DPS perspective? Is there something that the other DPS can do to help you guys out, whether you're playing marksman or survival or BM?
I actually wondered, right, but I haven't tried it and haven't spoken to, because we've only got one rogue in the group now. But I wondered if it was at all worth putting Tricks of the Trade on a hunter who's going to misdirect and convert that threat anyway, just for that additional threat during a pull. Plus, it's always nice to have a bit more damage, isn't it? It's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But maybe it's placed better elsewhere. I don't know. I don't know if it's better placed on the tank to generate that threat directly. I would have thought it's 6.5 a dozen, but the hunter's going to do more damage, so it's more worthwhile. But I've never read into it or, looked into it in any great detail.
So we
So
mentioned
basically-
the starting of the hunters. About the end game, did you have a current meta that you follow up since phase 1 to phase 3? Does it change? Is it a certain spec or whatever you like at the end game?
I personally, I just play what I enjoy, what seems fun. I'm going to stick with survival because, I'm just old and stubborn. But I mean, as it's already been mentioned, that people do tend to quite often stay true to the spec that they start with. That's quite common. So that is my plan. Because I think officially marksman is stronger in ICC. I'm pretty sure it is because of the armor pen. But still, I think I'll just play what you enjoy. I'll certainly
So-
be doing that.
I believe that survival is more fun to play than the rest.
For me it is, yeah.
When the ICC comes, you also get the new trap stuff. Are you excited about that as a survivor?
It's going to mean a lot less movement, which is good because movement is downtime in your DPS. And I think survival as well. You strictly speaking, if you want to maximize DPS, you're supposed to kind of stagger step, so you get your auto shots off while you run in. But in the heat of the battle and the chaos, that can be sometimes difficult to achieve. So certainly being able to launch.
You
that
can't
trap
blame
will
the
make a
tanks
difference.
anymore.
The tanks are always going to be at fault, Armoranth. Honestly,
Even though they,
this.
even if you put the trap there where the boss is at that time, the tank will move it anyways.
Look. Look, so there's some fights where they have to move them, and that's fine. And in those fights, you weigh it up. It depends how long your explosive trap's going to stay, or how long the boss is going to stay in your explosive trap. You weigh up whether or not explosive trap or Black Arrow is going to do more for you at that moment in time. But where the fights where the tank doesn't have to move and then decides to move, that's different. That's a different kettle of fish.
Oh,
But I think it's an improvement. It's definitely a quality of life improvement, and it'll be interesting to see how it actually pans out. Because that wasn't, correct me if I'm wrong, Trap Launcher wasn't until Kata.
I believe so as well.
Yeah, it was Cataclysm, yeah.
So nice change. I'm looking forward to it. It's a good thing. Definitely a good thing.
So even with the trap launcher, and correct me if I'm wrong, so instead of you going into melee to place the trap, you'll just launch it from a distance. But will it explode on impact, or will it stay there and it will explode once the boss triggers it?
It's still the
Yeah.
trigger, but it's a lot easier to place it in the trigger zone. When you run in melee, you need to run. If it's a big boss like a dragon, you have to run all the way into it, and then strafe weave to place it correctly in the middle of the hitbox, and it's a very janky. But when you can do that from range, I feel like I hope at least it's gonna be easier, and it's most likely gonna be a lot easier.
Yeah.
A lot more fun, because I hate hitboxes. If I wanted to be in melee, I would play, I don't know.
It kind of makes you wonder sometimes. I mean, some bosses' hitboxes are inexplicably large.
Yeah, was about to say.
It's like, why?
Yeah, like Sartharion, it's like half the arena.
What would it? What? Yeah, why?
Well,
I mean,
You're good?
maybe it's a zonal thing where if people need to take distance, like range need to take distance so they can still hit. I don't know what the. That's
Yeah,
probably it, I guess. The thinking behind it, or
that's
there was
one
no
thing.
thought at all.
That's one thing that's great about playing casters. I don't have to worry about the stupid hitbox. It doesn't matter to me.
Well, imagine that ICC is a raid that is full of ads and all the kind of different ads. Or like imagine the gunship fight that you can now trap over the other ship, or on Arthas as well, where you can preemptively throw the trap in the middle when the Valkyries drop, etc. So it's going to be so much fun and easier for the hunters, I believe.
I hope so. But again, I mean, it makes you like, for example, TOGC. There's some fights that it's just a bugbear. But like in the Northern Beast fight, your explosive trap doesn't hit the kobolds. When you're fighting the
Yeah,
Twin
because
Valkyr,
they're,
explosive
not
trap
on
doesn't
the
hit
floor.
them. But I mean, okay. I mean, a stipulation that it's got to be on the floor. It's like, oh my god, really?
The ground effect, and they're not on the ground, so Blizzard figured out
Oh.
if you can fuck hunters, why not?
But it hits whelps. Whelps, they fly, right?
Yeah, true. I don't know. It's some next
Hey,
level Blizzard logic.
small indie company, guys. Come on, give them some break.
Yeah, it'd be nice if they addressed that stuff as well. But they won't, and it's fine. It's fine. Classic
Yeah.
experience.
Fun part about Twin Valkyr is that you technically could trap it if you could bring an outside item in and trigger the trap, because the damage hits them.
Well,
It just
exactly.
doesn't trigger the trap, which
Well,
doesn't make sense.
I hadn't tried it, but I was going to stick down a target dummy, engineering target dummy, put the trap on top of that, and see, well, does that work?
Yeah, the
I can't
Hunter
remember if that's got
Discord
cooldown
found
or
out
not.
like some prairie dogs or ghosts. If you get like a curse from a TPC boss that spawns these ghosts, you can trap. But that's just so above and beyond what anyone would bother to do, I think. So it's like,
Dude, look at what they have to do to mimic a fraction of our power. It's crazy. They have to theorize about bringing in a dummy to trigger the trap.
yeah,
We're hunters,
imagine
man.
fraction of
Yeah.
your power. You don't have any parses we can look at for.
Oh, shut up.
Mage.
I mean, mages in general, not my power, like personally. Because yeah, there's a difference. There's a huge difference, unfortunately.
So you see, Del. I mean, this may be something that's going to come up in the conversation at some point,
Mhm.
because this is a hunter discussion after all. That hunters are stupid. And while we
No.
are, we have questionable intellect often. We have our own struggles in the game. It's not all black and white.
Honestly, now that you bring it up, I'm not sure if hunters is probably the class for that tends to gather the less intelligent people. I think that it's probably. Oh man. Oh.
Warriors.
Oh, you got a warrior issue. Oh,
Of course, they stole my gear all TBC. Of course, I have warrior issues.
there is that.
I would say probably mages.
Really?
Because there's not a lot of heavy decision making happening for like half the expansion, but that's for another day, I guess. For arcane mages, there is some form of decision making, but for fire mages, not really. So I tend to gauge intelligence in this game by what decisions you make. But if you're not offered any, then I guess that's for me. So anyway.
Maybe it's just a ninja pulling and weapon thing. Maybe that's where they get the bad rap.
Maybe. Perhaps.
But it's a meme though, right? Hunters are stupid. That is it just me?
Yeah, hunters.
Yeah.
That's stupid. It's just that you don't take control of your pets more often than not. It's like, is that hard to do? I don't get it.
When they're alive, Del. When they're alive.
That happens
Yes.
to warlocks as well, to be fair.
Yeah, what is it
but-
with the pets anyway? Anyway,
Also, I have heard a lot, especially now in talk, that hunters get the shittiest jobs. Is that correct?
100%.
Yeah,
Always.
we tend to get lumbered with the stuff that other people don't want to do.
yeah. Phase 3 has been hard on you guys.
Yeah.
It has, actually,
Yeah.
it has. I don't want to be responsible for ice orbs and what's a ribbon rack? Whatever his name is. Last boss.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Also playing goalies on twins. More often than not.
Oh yeah, there's that as well. That's kind of fun though. I kind of like that. Even though for some reason, maybe it's just me, my client, but the game, as soon as those orbs spawn in, the game gets pretty janky for a second or two.
Oh.
Yeah. The balls aren't also not always where they are supposed to be, or where the
No,
server is
that's
telling
true.
me that they are.
Yeah. Sometimes they
okay.
just pass right through you, and you think,
Yep.
all right then.
Oh, really?
Never do.
Wow. So how do you maximize damage by playing goalie?
Grab as many balls as you can, as quickly as you can.
Yeah, listen to some good music, some fast pace, and just click your buttons and hope for the best.
I see.
Hope the healers heal you enough so you don't die.
No,
Yeah.
the pet.
Yeah, it's a bet. Bet has to stay alive, dude. Man. Armoranth, would you choose to heal the pet over a tank if you had to?
Depends
Careful
on
now. Careful
depends
Who's on
now.
the tank?
if I like the hunter or not, or the
Oh,
tank.
I see.
So the answer
Can
is
we
no,
go-
is what they say.
We go back to the healing stuff where we are like, who deserves to live?
I mean, I'm one of the people that didn't have pet frames till Ali started moaning about it in the array for like the start of World War. So that's
I'm
when I got
surprised
my
I still
pet
talk
frame.
to you, Amaranth, quite frankly. I'm surprised we're still on talking terms.
Yep.
I think the funniest part is like when I was playing the Hunter in Classic and I was like, well, healers, can you please keep our pets alive, please? And then I started healing myself and I didn't have the pets part.
Yeah,
Like-
I mean, to be fair, in vanilla, the pets just die in one hit. If the boss does any AoE, it just falls over. It's very, very bad.
But you also had a lot of, well, I don't know about you, but I remember having a lot of macros for different situations, and we had, the fuck was that pet?
The Tonka toy thing.
The tongue, yeah.
Steam Tonk
Yes.
and the Dream Potion and
Yeah.
all that. Which worked kind of in TBC, because then they had 50% avoidance, so you saw that they took a hit and you were like, oh fuck shit, no, please God. And then you just slammed your macro, but in vanilla, I don't know, it just didn't work, they just died. It was very
Yeah.
sad state of affairs.
Look at you guys nerding over hunters. I love it.
Yeah, it's almost like it's the only class I have at level 80.
So, did you, should I actually, like, delete that steamy tongue stuff, or is that still valuable in draft?
I still use it, but you can't use it in combat, so I use it for
Ah,
dungeons when you just need to despawn your pet. Instead of dismissing it, you just miss the tonk.
Okay.
I
So
deleted mine.
Yeah,
It's there's no point in this anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used the Nexus when I jumped down. On the first
So-
platform.
Any big changes except the armor pen in ICC coming for you and the drop launcher? Anything you are waiting eagerly?
Are you getting Shadowmourne?
Of course we're getting Shadowmourne Hunter
There we
weapon.
go.
Hunter
There
Lord.
you go. Hunter Prio.
No. What do I look forward to? New weapons. The bow from the second boss looks really cool. I really want that. It's not the best. It's like 250 DPS below the crossbow, but you know, it looks
Are you
cool.
gonna fight? Are you gonna fight as well for the Sorfang trinket?
Of course, that's Hunter Pro, dude.
That is, yeah. Warriors. Look at it this way, right? Warriors have been carried since vanilla, so why should they give them a good trinket?
Well,
I've used
I
10-man trinkets for the entire expansion now. It's my time. It's my time for a 25-man trinket.
they're also in the discussion for Soddomorn, so I mean, they don't need
Exactly.
everything, right? They can do
And
without
Frost
them.
DKs, I mean, who's gonna give them a trinket? Am I right, guys? Am I right? and then you have Peril? Nah. No.
Nah, dude. Yeah, there we go.
They
It's
won't
100
even transform from the effect. They'll stay like a little kitty cat. No way.
No,
way.
true that.
Yeah, 100 round. Nice. Is there any fights that you wait for in ICC that look hunter-y, or like a fight that a hunter would do well? Perchance, like for instance, rather, not perchance. Like what's that lady's name with the
Dark
bites and
Whisper.
everything? No, no.
With the bites.
Yeah. What's she called?
She's
Anyway,
Queen of
Blood
some
Queen,
sort, right?
Yeah, Blood Queen Lanathel, yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Blood Queen. So mages are expecting Blood Queen Lanathel
Yeah.
they get bitten. But is
Yeah,
there
hunters can steal the bite if they want to, because we have with our cooldowns at the start. But I feel like we're gonna get frowned upon from doing that, but because we just generate more threat, and it's the second on threat that gets the bite.
Yeah.
But
and you also have to be in melee range if you want to do it, at least for the first one, right?
do you?
Do you?
I'm not
I don't remember actually.
I'm
Yeah,
not
because
sure.
otherwise she will just travel towards the person that she bites.
Oh yeah, she just runs to the first one.
Yeah. And that the melees will go like scree.
I'm
Because
so
of that.
looking forward for that fight. Like, yep, that's gonna be awesome.
Then I'm gonna steal it every time. Easy. No warrior is gonna get that buff over me.
Man, you're gonna be kings in that fight though, with the with misdirection, right? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
If we use misdirect other than the pool, this is news to me.
you don't
Well,
know.
Like a
yeah, that's-
wasted GTD to me.
It is. That's a tank thing. If you're tank, look, I've said this for years. There is no such thing as over aggro. There is only under threat, and I think that's true.
Yeah,
Hmm.
tank issue.
Exactly. If you can't generate enough threat, you really need to look at what you're doing and fix it.
Man, Ali, you're my favorite person on earth.
Well,
Yeah, but
she
you
got,
know what,
she got the
tanks-
point. Yeah.
Tanks have, a plethora of tools to generate threat. So it shouldn't, unless you're under geared, shouldn't be too much of an issue, right?
Well,
100%.
I don't know. I only know. I only started tanking like at some point in retail a while ago, and at that point, tanks had just
Yeah, I mean, in
no
retail, you
issue
just click a
generating
button.
threat in anything. Yeah. So I can't speak for current classic
I mean,
content.
that's why at least paladins get some DPS items now for tanking, so they can keep up with you guys.
But then on the other hand, if you know you have a new tank or a low-gear tank or a tank with threat issues, do you actually understand to relax the first few seconds at the pool, or do you just go and just blame the tank if you
We're,
over aggro?
we're hunters. We don't need to relax. We have feign death.
true.
Do you know? Do you
and
know?
and it's not our threat that we build up at the start. We build up the tank's threat. So
Yeah,
we have to go Sug, of course.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I
And as
meant
marksman,
that-
I also get readiness, so I can just reset all my cooldowns and feign death again if it fails, which it does sometimes. Sadly.
Do you do that?
Yeah. Or I
Okay.
misdirect the tank again, like on Algalon. I usually do that. I usually double misdirect.
Oh, what a good boy.
I
Mm.
know. I don't
This one
misdirect
is so cute.
outside of that, but you know. And it's
But yeah.
mostly an excuse to not kill the stars, but you know, we don't talk about that either.
Yeah, how come you guys just stop killing stars? I thought that when Ulduar was in the thingy, what's it called, the PTR, everyone was like, hunters should be doing the stars, and hunters should be doing the stars because it's easier for them. And however many raids I've done, I usually see other people doing the stars other than the hunters. How
Are you?
Is this a conspiracy that you guys built, like to avoid doing that?
Are you trying to assign hunters to the shit job again? Like,
Is
this
it
kind of
is it my
sounds
job
like-
to do the stars? Wow, I
It's
don't
just,
know.
it's just. I think it's a blanket kind of. Don't pigeonhole us. All right. We
Yeah.
are individuals as well. We have our own dreams.
Right. I see. Man, I can't believe how you guys like you didn't do that at all. It's crazy.
You just rat out of the job. Like, oh, not me,
Yeah.
not me.
There's a semi valid reason for hunters not to do it, because quite often you're working on timers, right? So you want
Right.
to start to die at a specific time. The
Uh-huh.
problem is once the star reaches 20%, your kill shot button lights up, glows in your face, saying "hit me, hit me, hit me, hit me." Even if the timing is off, you're going to want to hit that kill shot.
You
I
have to
know.
hit it. You need damage.
You can't
Or-
not hit kill shot.
And I believe also when you make such a fuss for the tank to hit your explosive trap, to have your black arrow up and all the dots, to switch targets like that, it will
It's
be
an
messy for the
injustice.
hunters.
Exactly. It's an
Very-
injustice.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Poor Shadow Priest though. Anyway.
Yeah.
I
Also,
like
it's
it.
better for dot classes to do the stars because you want reliable, predictable damage because it drains on its own, and you want to damage it. So it makes it a little silly for us to shoot it, and then we get a big crit, and then it comes faster than it usually does. So it's better to just dot it up, let it be there. For example, if you have a warlock putting up a corruption, if it's an affliction, they can just renew the dot and just like keep an eye on their HP and tell the raid when they're gonna go off. And at least in my brain, that sounds like a justification for hunters not to do it. But
But do warlocks get responsibilities in your raid?
No.
no,
Oh,
the
okay.
hunters
just
do
checking. That was
because
weird.
the
Okay.
warlocks, they're warlocks, so the hunters have to do it.
Yes, warlocks. Warlocks are special. They're special. They don't do anything. Was about to ask if they ever had any responsibilities in Wrath. I don't remember.
Never.
Just soulstone a target.
Yeah, that's about it.
They don't do
and-
that sometimes as well.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
often gets forgotten as well. Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, that's
Man.
also the wrong target.
Well, so I'm sorry, I soulstone myself. Oh, really?
Because I'm important. I'm a warlock. You need
yeah, that
me
was a
here.
mistake. Sorry. I did it again. Oh no.
Oh, I do it every night. Oh my god, it's crazy. So you say that you guys right now have a chance to share some knowledge, at least for the current state of things when it comes to raiding, to little young hunters that have little young pets. What would you suggest them they do? Like, if you could give them like 5 tips each for how to handle this raid that we're currently, this phase at least. We're not going to talk about ICC because obviously it's not out yet, so it's hard to gauge things, I guess. Yeah, that was my question.
Don't
give
be
them-
afraid to dream big. Go for it. Sug sug. No, I don't. I'm not sure. I would say learn how to trap weave. That's the very good thing to know. But next phase, that's illegitimized. It just stops being a thing for most people. Of course, if you can stand basically at melee range and strafe weave, you can still trap weave like that and not use the trap launcher, but that doesn't really matter. But I would say, think about movement, pay attention to your pet, positioning, don't fuck up the rest of the raid just because you want to damage. And yeah.
And if you do fuck up, feign death.
Yeah, exactly. Pretend it wasn't you.
Think of how do you say it? Aspect is that you know the fights and where the tank is going to move the boss and all that kind of stuff. To know the fight and to know the boss and such, as a hunter.
It certainly helps quite a bit. I won't deny that it helps a lot when you know where the boss is going at all times. But preferably you want it to not move at all.
Mm.
But of course, you can predict, place your trap somewhere else. You can choose to use Black Arrow over trap if you know we have to like kite a boss or something.
Mm.
But most of the time, it's not all that important. Except on bosses where you know they're gonna spawn a certain way. Like worms, for example, that pop up on set places every time. You want to pre-trap in those places. But outside of that, you don't really need to know the mechanics that deeply. But that's more something that comes with Hunter as a easy to learn, hard to master class. It's easy to play, all three specs. You could do it blindfolded, but the deeper understanding that comes with playing a spec for longer and learning all the fights as that spec is more of what makes you a hunter in my eyes, at least.
So you guys trap both worms.
I was gonna say, like,
I don't trap either.
Oh, no.
That's down to the tanks. You can't inherently hit both where they spawn. So they need to be pulled closer together if you want to hit them both.
Oh, okay.
That is,
As far as I understand it, at least. I've never managed to position it where it hits both of them.
yeah, that is a tank.
Without them moving.
So
we don't do that.
Yeah,
Just,
we don't cleave them. We're a dad guild, so we don't cleave them. We sug one and then we sug the other right after.
Yeah, that's what we do as well. So it's yeah, we trap one worm.
Yep.
Well, I believe.
Go ahead.
I believe hunters in general can either be a top class or a bottom class. I have never seen or believe a hunter can be in between, like in the damage and overall performance, because you either see a hunter being at the top or pretty low, below average.
Are you talking about the class or the individuals?
The class, as I've seen all the hunters I've played with.
I don't know. I think, but you can say the same for any class, can't you? Really, you've got either somebody who kind of knows what buttons to press, when to press them, where to be, and people that don't, irrespective of the class that you are. Apart from melee, because well, you're right on the boss always. I think for range, though, I think it's the same applies to most classes. Just knowing what to do. You get people who do know and people who don't know.
Well, for example, me and Del believed for a long time that you were an AI and not an actual person.
Yes.
Because you almost never failed anything.
Because I'm very sophisticated, right? It's not because of how I play. It's just I'm a sophisticated person.
Yes.
Except when Virgin fucked you over with your internet.
Oh yeah, that was annoying. What do I? Well, I don't know if there's an answer to that question, to be honest. I definitely not an AI. I definitely lack the intelligence to be anything resembling that. Although I do know how to pick up an egg without breaking it in one hand, which apparently is quite difficult for machines to do.
I think you are in fact an AI, and you just threw that L in between your name to throw people off. That's what I think.
Oh, well, as you may or may not know, my name is Alistair. So this is an abbreviation of that name.
Ooh, that's nice.
So yeah, Alistair, yeah.
Wow.
Which is, I believe, derived from Alexander, which is quite an old name.
Oh. So you're partially Greek.
I would think, I would imagine my roots are probably more Scandinavian, probably. Fair hair, that kind of stuff.
So you said about that you could play Hunter blindfolded. Is that like if you know the basics of the gaming and are good, then you can be good in basically any class?
Yeah, at least fundamentally.
And if you suck, then you suck in whatever you play.
I mean, every class, DPS, healing, I mean, not so much healing, but DPS and tank, certainly, you've got an action priority list, right? You know, if you're simming, if you're looking at sims and switching things around, then you've got an action priority list. And fundamentally, it is what button does the most damage in the smallest amount of time. And that applies to every DPS class. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's just a case of you do the thing that does the most in the shortest time.
I know. Yeah.
So I think blindfolded. Well, it depends. If you trap weave, it might be more difficult to do it blindfolded. But I don't think it's.
You could do it blindfolded if it was like a human-sized target, where you could just strafe weave. But outside of that, probably not trap weaving blindfolded. That would be a little difficult.
Definitely. The trap launcher should certainly. I think it's going to help that. But
yeah, if the boss doesn't move. But
You-
bottom
you-
line is that all the effects are very simple. We don't snapshot. We don't do any tricksy stuff. We just kind of click our buttons and go about our day.
Yeah, was about to say. You guys both seem to agree that trap weaving is the difficult part of Hunter, and given other classes like mechanical thingies that they have to do during a raid, like Mog just mentioned, snapshotting, for instance, right? How would you rate like trap weaving, and what is it that makes it like difficult to maneuver? Because maybe that's the difference between the hunters, like Armaranth mentioned earlier.
I think, well, I mean, if you're looking at trap weaving specifically, I think if there is slight movements in the boss's position, then if you're really min-maxing and trying to do as much as you can, then it makes a difference, because you'll literally run up to a boss, strafe outside of its hitbox so that it lands just in the hitbox, so that you can back off and then do your damage again. So from that point of view, it can be fiddly, or you can play it safe and just get close to the boss to drop the trap.
So it's basically the hitbox and the boss's movement that makes it a hard thing.
Yes.
Yeah,
because,
fundamentally, I would say so.
yeah. Because you have probably noticed this when you throw a fireball, it always hits the same spot on the boss. Like it homes in, even if the boss moves, it like curves. Because it has like a ranged anchoring point where the ranged attacks go. But the thing is that the trap is classified as a ranged attack. So it has to be on that anchoring point and not the like melee hitbox, which is the entire body.
Mm-hmm.
So it can be finicky with the placement, but with most bosses it is doable. And you, as survival, you basically want to trap weave at all time, just because of the lock and load, the proc chance.
Mm-hmm.
But as marksman, it's more if you do it in a timely manner. If it's purely single targets and you think you're gonna spend more time trap weaving than it's worth, which is simmed at 3 seconds. To be honest, it's probably longer because it's passive damage and it's just very strong ability. It's our highest damaging per button press. So yeah, it all depends on how good you are at it. So practice makes perfect. Play some Nax, you can trap weave everything in there, then go to the big leagues, I guess, in ICC. Or not ICC, because then we get the launcher, but in
Yeah.
in trial.
Collar Garden's a good one to practice on.
Oh, that is very fun. I actually
Because-
did 3 traps in our previous fights.
Oh, this is great. So you have to. What I've, and maybe it's just a me thing, but what I've figured out is that if you jump off the edge, and then
You die.
no. Well, sometimes you do. Yes, that's true. But you jump off the edge, and then if you do about halfway through that jump, disengage, immediately followed by explosive trap.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
hits.
that's what you have
It
to do.
always
because
hits.
You have to update your position with disengage and then
Yep.
trap. Optimally, I
Wow.
would just make a macro that does that, but I don't. So I do it manually, which is a little sketchy, but
It's
I don't-
fun. It's more fun.
yeah, it's more fun. It's more
It's a
engaging.
challenge. Yeah, exactly.
Can you trap Collar Garden without dying?
You
It's a
can.
Nice thing. You can.
Sometimes the boss hits you
Sometimes.
if you've got too much aggro.
Yeah, I did that on a noob in 10-man. I kind of forgot about the whole threat thing. So I ran into
Yeah.
melee into trap and I got slapped. But, that's something that just happens.
Yeah.
Feign Death was on cooldown, right?
Oh,
Yes,
100%. 100%.
Of course it was.
It
Of course it
resisted. It
was.
resisted.
Ah, hate when that happens all the time.
It resisted as I ran in, of course, because I just auto shot and then I feigned because feign resets your auto shot timer, of course. So, but it resisted. So, rest in peace.
See, we do everything we can, hunters. Everything we can. Never fail. It's mechanics that get us.
Yeah,
It's the
and
game
tank.
that's unfair.
Yes, true. It's the code. That's what I've got from this discussion.
It's the Paschetti.
Yeah, the Pascal. Yeah, exactly. What I also got from the discussion is that it sounds like you guys describe it as a pretty straightforward class. From my perspective, it's like you guys are doing parkour during the raid. It's weird to see you guys go melee, then disengage, and do the backflip. It's like, what's
We're
going
not
on?
night elves.
Oh, they don't. Not everybody backflips when they disengage.
No.
It depends on
Really?
the size of the boss hitbox.
Oh, I always thought like you do a backflip. Anyway, what I wanted to say is, besides it sounding like a very straightforward class, are there any common mistakes that you've seen other hunters do? Aside from, not drop weaving enough, I guess.
Standing in melee all the time. That's probably a bad move.
Yeah, that's inadvisable. Unless
Yeah,
the boss, unless you know the tank has the boss fight on, have it down, then I
Mhm.
wouldn't stand in melee. That's unfortunate behavior.
What on that topic specifically, what was Blizzard's intention with Mongoose Strike?
Oh,
Why is that a thing? What's it supposed to do?
it's for
Yes.
farming mobs when you're too lazy to run away to
It's when
kites. You just kill it.
It's when you panic, you get the enemy too close, so you can do a little bit of more damage when you flee.
Okay. So it's got its place then.
Well, I have it macroed with the other melee stuff.
It is there to prepare you for the retail hunter, I guess.
Yeah.
For training.
Oh no.
What? You guys didn't use this? Well, that's your fault.
See, now it's useful.
Exactly.
I see. Is there a best bet? Because I had that question.
Wolf.
Really? Oh wow.
Yeah, wolf.
Yeah.
For everyone, for Beastmaster, it's wolf. Everything, it's just wolf. It's just the best.
Is it 400 attack power buff it gives? 20 seconds or something?
320 for 20 seconds on a 40-second cooldown.
That's why. That's why it's best.
Yeah, and for BM, it's on a 27-second cooldown, so you get more uptime on it, which is why it's
Oh.
better there also. But Devil Swords are like 50 DPS lower on BM, but it's a fucking dinosaur, so it's cooler. If I played BM, I would use a Devil Sword, probably, maybe. Probably not actually. I would use a wolf. But, yeah.
Maybe something
Devil
that's
Power is
not.
something that you need to have. Just like it's like a standard stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe something that's often overlooked is what pet looks best dead.
Mm.
Exactly. Which is a spirit beast, so you should always bring a spirit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, precisely.
And I have a spirit beast on my main. I just can't use it. It's in my stable.
Yeah. So, do you do this rock paper scissors before the fight? Like who is going to put and keep on putting the hunter's mark?
No, or I don't. I just do it because I don't know. I used to be spec'd in to improve the hunter's mark, but we're not really reliably having 3 hunters. So the DPS loss from me using that is more or less the same as the DPS gain. So I just opt not to use it.
So
We only
there's
have.
no hunter's mark at all. Is that what you're saying?
I hunter's mark. I regular hunter's mark.
Yeah.
And then I hope Tarboon does it on ads and stuff, or I mean, unnamed hunter that I play video game with. I hope he hunter's marks the ads or whatever other targets there are.
We've got a marksman hunter, so I don't. Well, yeah, I don't worry about hunter's mark too much. He's actually fairly on the ball, which is pleasant. So
Yeah.
I'll let him do that. Unless it's a random ad or trash or something that he's not done it on.
So now that we got Joyous Journeys back, at least for a while, would you ever prefer another spec to level up? Till, let's say, Outlands or Northrend, except Beastmaster?
Yeah, I would level as marksman every time. It's just it feels more efficient damage wise because the BM has such a ramp up before it starts doing damage, and it falls off very fast. So it's just better to just dish out the damage straight away.
Let's say, still solo all the lead quests and everything as a marksman?
I mean, if you are able to, if you kite them, but most of the time you're not gonna bother doing that. So you
what I
can have
love.
yeah, that's what you have a dual spec for. If you want to just face tank it, you can play also BM. But then it's a matter of gear or what glyphs you have. So you need like specified glyphs if you want them to solo stuff, like a glyph of mending, so that mend pets heals more. Or you can do what I did, and I hoarded my tier 5 set from TBC, which is overpowered for soloing things. So the 2-set piece for you uninitiated, it heals the pet for 15% of the damage you deal.
No, that's nice.
So you can just zug everything. Just be careful you don't over aggro, because you're gonna do that because your pet generates nothing.
So, we had we asked people to give us some questions for you guys. I asked them to give us some meme questions, but they were actually trying to get like,
Boring.
yeah, real stuff out of you, which I guess is better. So I'm not
bring
gonna
out the list. No,
yeah,
okay.
I'm not gonna ask no, let's not bring out that list because it has some really good questions, but yeah, anyway.
I particularly like question 13. I would like to answer that question.
Okay, so how do I avoid killing myself? That comes from Timas. How do I avoid killing myself or pulling with disengage?
You remove it, disengage from your action bar.
Okay, that's straight up. So you don't use it?
Well, you do, but you shouldn't. I mean, if you're putting yourself in a position where disengage is getting you killed, you maybe aren't quite understanding the disengage mechanic to its fullest.
How do you kill yourself with disengage? This is
Well, you disengage to a mob pack that wasn't previously aggroed, and it then kills you and kills the rest of the raid.
But that would mean that you'd
That's
be
possible.
not standing between the tank and the raid group, but standing behind the tank or somewhere. What?
Oh, I think people are capable of doing that. You know, I think that's not out with people's skill set sometimes.
I've seen a lot of different stuff, yes.
Look, wherever your back is faced to, if that's worse than where your front is faced to, you don't disengage.
Well, sounds pretty straightforward.
I think so. I can't think of a situation where it might otherwise get you killed, other than the edge of a cliff or something like that. But where the same rule should still apply, really. If the back is worse than the front, you don't do it.
Okay.
Or you can turn around 180 degrees and then use it, because then you go forward.
Well, exactly. But that will avoid that. That's a good use of disengage.
Yeah, you can jump over fire on Mimron with it. It's very handy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's like a blink.
Yeah, I always
quite as efficient, but yeah.
Wow.
When they changed disengage, that's the reason that made me play Hunter, when they added the backflip disengage.
But also, it has to be, at least only in this expansion, like it changes next expansion, you have to be in combat to use it.
Mm.
Oh.
So if you're managing to kill yourself before combat with disengage, I'd like to know how, because I would like to do that.
I would like to see that. That would be like a bloopers reel. That would be nice.
All right. So
I have a feeling that this happened to a hunter in their raid group, and they're just making a meme out of that.
You think? Maybe.
I think. Well, look. I think fundamentally, if on a serious if you can call it that, note, if disengage is getting you killed, it's probably safer off of your action bar.
Wise alley.
I think so. I think, yeah.
Next one. And I like that one, and I'm going to follow it up with another one. How do I use Strength Shot is the question from Timas. And my question is...
From the spell book?
Is it
Yeah, I was about to
actually...
say.
is it actually
What?
better if you guys Strength Shot when say Ice Howl and Rages? Is it better for you guys to Strength Shot, or is it better for rogues to use the poison that they're using?
Hunters, I imagine it's one GCD. I think. Well, I mean, a
Yeah.
rogue switch weapon, is that a GCD? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a reset of their swing timer, isn't it, when they swap a weapon, switch a weapon? And it
So
might be
probably
on the
hunter
GCD.
then. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a hunter.
Oh.
That's what it's made for, right?
You're not using it that often, though? Is that what I gathered from Yaz's answer?
I used it on the faction champions. No,
Okay.
she has this weird thought that I don't trank shots, but I have always trank shots, so I actually have no idea why she thinks that I don't.
I see.
It dispels stuff in general, so it can be useful. Like bloodlust or anything you don't want something to have.
Oh, it's not just about raging.
No, it
No,
does
they have changed
magic
it.
dispels as well.
Oh, wow. That's great. You
So
should be
do
using it more
hunters-
often, Bug.
Do hunters have an active Discord that they actually use, or is it just a chat room to diss on tanks and post cute photos of you and your pets?
Well,
There is
that's
a hunter
most of the
Discord.
channels. That's most of the channels, but they
Okay.
also have some theory crafting and practical stuff there.
All right.
They have a nice list of where you can and can't trap weave, basically, and how you go about doing it. Just a very simple kind of bullet pointed list that says these are the bosses you can do it on. This is kind of how you do it, and it's more or less, it's accurate. It's true. You
I've
can't
always
usually work
liked
outside
it.
of it.
I have always liked the information that they have on Hunter's Discord. Like, especially, all the bosses and the fights are really, like, do this and don't do this on that boss.
Is it called the Hunter Club, or do you have a sophisticated name?
It's
Well,
the
we couldn't
Hunter's
possibly talk
Lodge.
about it.
Classic Hunter Lodge.
Oh, it's a
Yeah.
lodge. I see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
we-
where we hang out and drink whiskey and
Of course.
I
talk
see.
about shooting game or something. I don't know.
And shoot
Yeah,
the
but-
tanks that move the bosses.
Yeah, we wish.
Man, the tanks are getting a little flack in this
Look,
episode.
here's the thing, right? If, as a tank, you have suddenly taken a passion towards ballroom dancing, do that in your personal time. Don't do it in the raids time.
Yeah.
That's a you thing, not
Mhm.
punish the rest of us thing. The
Mm-hmm.
dancing's lovely. It's just not necessary.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Wow. It sounds like you got quite an experience on that department, honestly. Yeah.
I'm speaking for the hunter community as a whole.
Got it,
Not,
got it.
it's not through personal
Mhm.
experience in any way, shape, or form.
Got it. I got you. So, any similar question that Amaranth just did? Do you guys have any weak auras or add-ons that you're consistently using, and you find them to be helpful, and maybe others that you can suggest to people, to hunters?
When I started playing Hunter, I think when I started raiding, I got in Classic this, the weapon swing timer. That's an add-on to the Weak Aura. And
Okay.
I still have that up to this day. So, I find it really nice.
Is that the... I've seen a lot of hunters having like 2 bars and one that goes like a pendulum almost. Is that the swing timer thingy?
Yeah, one of them is the cast timer, probably, and one is the swing timer. And
Okay.
if it was in TBC, it was probably also GCD.
Okay. So I need
Thames,
to...
if you're raiding, the Thames Weak Aura pack is quite a popular one.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
meant
cooldowns
more
of things.
more hunter specific. rather than general.
I have trinket internal cooldowns.
Okay.
I have an internal cooldown for that, because then I can hold my second rapid fire for when that comes up. And no, outside of that, I don't know. I have some survival. I have lock and load proc, and Serpent Sting up is whether Serpent Sting is up or not. But no, outside of that, I don't
Do
really.
you have a range, Vikora?
No, I don't have range Vikora. I do it by touchy feely.
Is there a range Wikora?
Yes.
Is that
Apparently.
specific to hunters or?
No, I think everyone can use it.
Yeah,
Oh.
but
It's
I
usually
think
hunters
because-
that are scared of entering melee. So
Yeah, but hunters do have longer range than I.
Really?
doesn't we have no? We have the same as mage, I think.
Oh, we
'cause
have
we
the
have
same
the 35.
Good.
And warlocks have
Warlocks are the
like 30.
difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You opened up a whole new word for that now. He's gonna download the Wikora and check his range and everything.
Definitely am. I definitely am. See, that's the nice thing about this episodes. Timas told me to watch out for my to look at my raid frames to actually see if I'm in the raids of the healers. I would never thought to do that. And now this one, dude, I'm stepping up. That's what's going on. I'm stepping my game up.
I'm so glad I was able to help you out. That's so nice. I'm
Yeah.
gonna remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. I'm actually gonna look for it.
Well, don't
You-
do that
you-
now. Do we still have any questions?
Yeah,
Don't
you
allow
don't you don't have to
Jordan.
wait for me while I'm actually searching for it. you can still chat.
Well, does he get the shit jobs? He's not a hunter. How dare you?
Wait, does it only work with hunters?
No, you can. Yeah, Wikora can be defined by any spell or a custom range. So
You
it's
just
up to
wanna
you
check
how
up
you want
the-
it to do it.
Yeah, just check the load part.
Oh, by the way, a last question that I saw and affected on my hunter playthrough a lot. So, how do I use aspect of the Viper without losing too much damage?
If you're very big fan of looking at swing timers, you can lose no damage. If you aspect weave, it's when you fire off a shot and then right as it goes out, you switch to Viper until it lands, because then you retain the damage of the aspect of the Dragonhawk, and you still
Oh,
get the
aspect
mana from it.
weave. I see.
Yeah. Aspect weaving, yeah. So you fire the shot, switch right after, and then you switch back right as the shot hits. And then
Dude,
you
how
still
much-
get the mana.
How much weaving you guys are doing?
All of it.
You should be called weavers instead of hunters. Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy fuck!
I actually have a question based on that. Does because I've never tested it. Does your dot effects, does the damage from those dynamically change when you switch aspects?
No, because percent damage actually snapshots on your dots.
So never explosive trap or explosive shot whilst in
Explosive,
Viper.
explosive trap dynamically does, except for the first
Alright.
explosion.
Okay.
The rest dynamically changes, but your Serpent Sting doesn't dynamically change, even though it does kinda with attack power. It's very weird. It gets reduced when you lose attack power buffs, but it doesn't get increased if you gain attack power buffs while you have it on. It's very stupid.
Good to know though. Good to know.
Because I see a lot of moaning from the hunter about Judgment of Wisdom, and I always did, and Ali was actually right. Tarboon and Mog were also right.
It's
But
so
let's say-
awful. It's so bad.
It's a
remove
big
it.
DPS hit if you miss it. It is. If it's a short fight, if the fight's 3 minutes or less, it probably doesn't matter.
Mhm.
But the longer the fight lasts, the more valuable Judgment of Wisdom becomes.
Oh, I hear that you play the Thrill of the Hunt survival here. You just outed yourself.
Yes. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, if you don't play that spec, it's awful. It's like 1.5 minutes and you're out of mana. But and then you have to start aspect weaving if the uptime of Judgment of Wisdom is bad. But usually it
that
isn't,
enough, though?
so then it's not a problem at all.
Is that enough with the replenishment? Do you make, let's say, on a good rating that you have the perfect kill times? Is it enough to keep you from aspect weaving, or do you need to do that sometimes as well?
With wisdom.
Yeah, if you don't have wisdom, or if you do have wisdom.
If you do have wisdom, if it's a relatively short fight, then you never need to switch.
Yeah, then it's fine. Then unless you go on ads that don't have wisdom,
Yes.
you're more than fine for every fight if you have wisdom. If you don't have wisdom, it's a real struggle. Unless you play a Thrill of the Hunt survival, which is basically the best spec. Like you can go for the 650. No, what the fuck is it? I don't fucking know. But it's a spec where you go a little into Beast Mastery just to pick up improved aspect of the Hawk, which is like 100 something DPS higher, but you lose the mana and you lose replenishment.
Yeah.
So
It depends massively on fight length. So fight length kind of dictates what works best.
So if the fight is short, and the wisdom is up, and if you still are then you're doing something really wrong.
You're probably volleying single target where you shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Well,
you should only volley single target on one boss, and that's Wessex.
I mean, you just actually gave me an idea with when the raid is crowded with paladins, you should have one, and the fight involves ads. You should have one paladin always judging the ads. Let's say if you don't have any retries, right, that it's in their rotation. But yeah, good call.
You will make hunters your friends that way, yeah.
Yeah.
Also healing the pets. Don't forget that is important.
Yeah, the pet is usually our own responsibility, I would say.
Oh,
It's what I like to say. Sometimes it all depends on the fight, of course.
Even with the best pet management, even with your pet by your side for the entire time, it can still die.
They're gonna kick you from the lodge, Mog, for saying things like that.
It's mostly, it's just some bosses are really pet unfriendly.
They are.
Like worms. If someone in melee gets the fire debuff and it hits your pet, it's just gonna die. If you get the fire debuff and your pet is next to you because you can't send it in, because you have some weird rule where you don't let melee in on the second worm or something, it will die. But it all depends on the fight, really. It should be immune to most AoE damage, but if it's like applied dots, it's just gonna die most of the time.
We should all be treating pets better.
Yeah, but if you want to heal it a tiny bit on, say, Mimmeron when he does the explosion thing, that would be nice.
See, they're nice about it, though.
Can you divine intervention a pet?
Never tried that.
Have we tried?
We'll do. And we'll come back with a feedback.
Good to know. For science.
Well, all right. Is this a good point to have the guys do their shoutouts? Yaz and Armor.
Yeah.
Unless we have other questions that we want to ask, but I think that the guys during the discussion they have been very insightful in general about their class.
They definitely learned something tonight.
Yeah, you healers probably. I got a new weak aura, dude. My UI is gonna look like. Have you seen the old UIs where they had like a billion things on screen?
If you ever think, I wonder if there's a weak aura, just ask me because I probably have them all.
She has all of them. That's why her fucking that's why every raid for her is a PowerPoint presentation.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But they are important, so that's why.
I mean, the range.
I have like 2 weak auras, and it's not even for for reading. It's for like cooldown.
Okay.
I mean, I totally used the Thames pack that we're required to use in our guild. I use that a lot.
Yeah,
I use it all the time, actually.
Mhm. I know this stats, and I made a little mark.
Yep.
Right. Ali, if you want to start with any shoutouts, and don't forget to mention Diana, because
Well, a shout out to my beautiful and lovely wife, Diana.
go.
Yes, she's not listening. Well, I mean, she's in the same room, but she's not listening right now. I've never done shout outs before. I'm of a generation where shouting out wasn't a thing. But friends, family, colleagues, co-workers, world peace, all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, this is like a gala. Like, just thank you, all those
Yeah.
people, right?
Thank you to everybody who got me where I am today. I couldn't have done it without all of you.
See?
Thanks to all the tanks that actually
Oh,
molded
well, let's
you.
not get carried away, Del. Let's not get too carried away with who we're thanking here.
Thanks to those
Right.
tanks that are actually keeping the boss still.
Yes. Thank you, tanks, for taking your ballroom dancing outside of the raid.
All right, Mog, how about you?
I want to thank my fellow hunters in arms, especially in the Sparks Guild. You know who you are, if you're listening. That's a big if. And also the rest of my raiding team, of course. They're very good. They're amazing people. They make marksman look a whole lot better than it actually is. Thank you for that. That's a joint effort. So yeah, well, that's it really.
Aw.
And my mom and my dad and my brother and my sister and my uncle and my auntie and all that. My cousins.
Are all
And
these
my-
people
and my
gonna
pets.
listen?
My pet, yeah, my pet. Hopper, you're the love of my life. I love you.
Oh, Hopper. Okay.
Aww.
Ali, do you still
A
call
wolf called
wolf.
Hopper.
Yeah, of course.
How do you name yours, Ali? Is it Wolf?
I have renamed my wolf, yes.
Oh, my God.
wow!
You
Is
bet.
it Wolf too?
It's Wolf.
Oh,
Okay.
God.
Oh, that is.
Oh, you're not a real hunter if you don't name your pet, man.
Oh. Well, I did get a Cray Wolf, and I named it Cray Parses. I think
Oh, that's
fitting.
nice.
Smart. That's smart. True.
That's what I should have named mine. It would be more accurate.
Oh, perfect. Come on. You just want
Nah.
us to. Yeah.
No, I don't want you to do anything. I'm just talking trash about myself.
Yeah, you're looking for sympathy. I do that too.
Always.
Yeah. Or do
in
we
every
want to?
in every episode so far. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have done the delay thing. Today's logs and just add your logs to like inspection. Like, oh my, these are so. I don't see anything where you can improve.
Hey, I am
Right.
who I am. I'm happy. Who I am. Okay.
Only one thing missing from this podcast to end. I need a Kevin Bacon fact from Ali
True.
before we close this off.
I mean, they weren't really Kevin Bacon facts. They were more film titles that he's been in that you would just intertwine into conversation. So whether it was Footloose or something, if you were,
my
quick on
God.
your feet, hunter, trap weaving, you could be Footloose, just like the 1984 film featuring Kevin Bacon.
The meta game. Oh my God. I didn't even notice.
You use the term ballroom though, ballroom dancing for the tanks. You missed that one.
What? Has he been in a film called Ballroom?
Is he? Really?
I'm
What
control
is
Fing
that?
this right now.
It could be.
Ballroom. No, you're lying, Dale. He's not been in a film called Ballroom.
Yeah.
You're thinking of Footloose. It's
Yeah,
Footloose.
I am. It's probably that's what's up. Kevin.
I
Bacon.
haven't seen that film, sadly. I probably should watch it.
Yeah. So Kevin. if you're
Maybe
listening-
I'll get the big picture, like the 1989 film featuring Kevin Bacon.
See, we missed this. We need more of this.
So many films. I should get back on track.
Dude, this guy was an X-Men? What?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it's the
Hello.
in general, dude.
Yeah.
Maybe next time we're going to interview Kevin Bacon.
All right.
Oh, we will.
That's the next challenge. Get
Oh.
Kevin Bacon.
We
He
will.
did it, so why can't
You
you?
dream.
Okay, I'll try to find Kevin Bacon's contact information. Hold
Before
on.
you do, can he let our guests leave so they can?
Oh, I have to do the what? Yeah, okay. So
Closing?
the closing. Yeah, okay. Ali and Mog, you have been a joy to have you here. Honestly, it was very fun. I personally did learn a little bit about hunters. I'm still gonna be, looking at hunters as the cool kid in the class that does parkour, because you kind of look cool, and
We know.
I'm not sure. You're not unintelligent for sure. You sound like not you guys personally, but the hunters in general. Uh, so that was episode 12. Yeah. Thank you for being here. We're not sure if episode 13 is going to be about a class. Maybe we should do something about ICC in case we have more info from our Blizzard friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know how fast they are with their announcements.
Yeah. Kind of slow, I guess. Anyway, to all those who tuned in, thank you very much. We do have a Discord channel, and Yaz usually links it somewhere. I don't know. We will make sure to include every the hunters the lodge link for you guys in the description of the video, and any other links that might be useful for you. Guys, thank you again for being here. Ali, it's always a pleasure.
Likewise, guys. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very
Pleasure
much.
to be here.
And
Thank you, Mike.
bye, good night, good evening, and all the rest.
Yeah.
See you.
Bye, Craig.
Good night.